Okay, welcome all to the December 6th meeting of the Dudley Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. And I do have to advise everyone that this meeting is being recorded. So we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes from November 1st.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to accept the minutes of November 1st.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. 810 Yard Road. Diane Ryan?
Yep.
Come on up to the table.
Here. Here.
Yep, that's fine.
So,
Did you sign in on the?
I signed in here,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yep. So I own a house that my son lives in to go to Nichols. And, they moved out for the summer in May 10th, May 6th, something like that. And the house was vacant all summer and my hot water tank let go at some point in June. And, I didn't find out until August when he went back. So the house was vacant for.
It was full of water?
Yep. Yep, in the basement. So, I got my first bill for the water and I thought, well, shame on me, I should have shut the water off before we left, but we didn't. And then, so I paid like $7 something for the quarter for April,
May, June?
And then I just got the other bill that was July, August, September, and it was another $800, and I just can't,
Where's the water going? Where was it going?
in my basement,
Okay, so filled the basement. At some point, it's got to go somewhere. Did it?
outside the basement.
Okay, it flowed. Okay.
So it flooded. We got there and it was flood. So I don't know when it happened. So I was hoping, since none of it went in the sewer and it went in my basement, that I could get some sort of break on my bill since it didn't go in the sewer for both quarters.
Okay,
So I think I have how much I paid for like what my normal bill is like $3 something, and one was $7.95 and the other one was $6.73. So.
That's the Dr. Scott. That has the, that's okay, that has the.
And nobody was there, so it should have been like virtually nothing, but it was a lot.
okay, so it looks like is this just water? Or is this the total bill?
That's total bill.
That's the total bill, okay. Is it split anywhere?
No, that's just the total breakdown. It only gives the split on the bill itself.
Okay.
But that's what was,
What's the typical split? It's not 50/50.
no. But it's,
Sewer's got a higher base.
yeah, it's written on the bottom of there, $4.74, is that what it says?
Oh, per cubic foot?
Yep. I'm so sorry?
So I think somebody went to the house to check the meter, and some woman called me, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not questioning the meter. I know what happened. So someone did go there just to, like to verify that the meter was, and I'm not questioning, I mean, the water did come out.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was a drain down cellar or something, so that if it was running, it may go into the sewer, or if you're.
Oh, no, it
Out
did
basement,
not,
if it just goes out.
it did not go in the sewer. I can guarantee it did not go in the sewer.
There we go.
You can rotate it.
Where?
Here, mine's rotated.
Okay. okay, usages are,
Did Brian go interrogate it to see the flow?
He did a data log.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's consistent. If you, yeah,
It's a steady flow.
well, on and off.
31, 32, 39,
Pushes and
45.
then pulls back. and
Okay,
pushes,
so-
pulls back.
So an average of 31, 32 up to 45.
So it looks like 26, 31, 32, those are pretty stable. It jumped a little bit there, but it stayed. You have a plumber come in and fix it?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I had to buy a new hot water tank, obviously, yeah, and I had to pay someone to get rid of the mold, because there was mold everywhere. It was just a disaster. And then a water bill on top of it. It was icing on the cake.
Did they pump the water out of the basement?
Yeah, no, I don't know how he did it. I wasn't there, so I don't know how he did it, but like there was like drying systems and all that other stuff.
Yeah, the water, I mean,
You're off 1,300 cubic feet, basically, compared from the.
I mean, the water should have been 0. There was nobody there. So, like, there wasn't a person that entered that house from May 10th to August 1st.
This is the first time it's been vacant that long?
Yeah. Yeah, last summer the summer before, somebody stayed there. This
yeah,
summer, I
from
think
July,
it-
yeah, there was, because the July 7th bill, there was there's usage. The October bill, there was usage. The January bill, yeah, every.
Yeah, it's only been vacant, just this summer was the first time it was ever vacant.
Yeah, I mean, it's the longstanding policy, that goes through the meter, it has to be paid for. The water, on the water side.
I don't, yeah, I'm not, I mean, yeah, of course I'm
I've been
responsible. The
bitten
water,
personally by it,
yeah,
so.
no, I mean, I understand that, but it didn't go through the sewer.
She used the water, she was.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that, of course.
Okay,
Past practice, Mr. Chairman.
do we know, do we know what the,
You'd have to tell me how much you're looking to, I can't figure out a price unless you're.
Say about 1,300 cubic feet.
I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, I can figure it out, but you just have to tell me how much you're looking to, how many cubic feet you're looking to, and then I would go from there.
and if there was nobody there, this last bill was 4,500.
Well, they got there in August, so.
Oh, yeah, all right, so.
Yeah, so some of the water is
Yeah, okay,
valid
yeah.
for August.
Yeah,
It would only be 1 month for August.
Well, 2 months.
For our August billing, it's 1 month.
I know,
It's
but can we
July,
go back
August.
to the other one
It's
too?
July, August,
the
and
one, well,
September.
we've got that here. Yeah,
Between April and July, you're off like 700 cubic feet.
Yeah, but somebody lived there before.
Jumped
way
up
of
to
knowing.
45 last month.
so it's about,
Brian's
about 1,000
data
cubic
logger
feet.
goes back 96 days.
Yeah, so he has no idea during the time that nobody was there if there was usage or not. There's no way of finding it. Because it goes back from 96 days from, like, he went out, and he went out this week.
About 1,000 cubic feet, I would think.
So he missed,
Yeah, there's no
Got some-
way.
You said that you've got a couple of months there and then a couple of months, you got 2 partials, be somewhere around 1,000 cubic feet, that looks like to me.
For each month or total?
Between the two bills.
Look at the dates. April reading, July, November, October.
Could be, could be more than that, I don't know. It's hard to tell,
I know, it's hard to
looking at the
tell.
numbers.
Yeah.
We've been through it over the years, people responsible for their property, we get it, the toilet's running, things of that nature.
Yeah.
You hear a sound in your house, you have to investigate. If you're leaving for vacation, it's a good practice to turn the water off.
Yeah, I, well, know that now.
People have to be responsible for their property.
Yeah, I mean, my concern was that I was paying for sewer, that it didn't go in the sewer.
Back practice, if it can be proved it didn't go in the sewer, we've abated.
It's common practice.
So, you know, what, you know, I don't know if anybody can come up with a. You said from
May 10th
May
to
to
August, it's like the 2nd or 3rd or something like that.
It's about 1/4.
That's okay.
1 month of this current bill and 2 months of the previous bill. It took the 246, 70, 7. So those previous 4 are averaging somewhere around 2,500, 3,000, between 2,500 and 3,000. So, yeah, it's about 1,200 cubic feet-ish. I don't know, does anybody care to?
Past practice.
If we can figure out what the actual usage was for that time, you know, or what didn't go down the sewer.
The average of the last 4 usages is somewhere around 2,600, 2,600.
For the quarter?
For the quarter, for those, you know, you take those first 4, 2,000, 2,600, 3,100, 3,200, average those, that's 1,090 divided by 4. 20, it's 250, 2,500 plus. About 2,700, about 2,700. So, and if we took that and subtracted that from what? From 36, that's about 1,000.
It would be,
Yeah. It's somewhere, I would figure somewhere between 1,000, 1,200 cubic feet. Or
474 per 100 cubic feet?
per 100.
Yep. Plus the base rate,
Well, the base rate is the base rate, that's.
that quarter, so that would stay. So, how much are you looking to abate?
So it'd be about $50. Sewer usage.
but you're averaging it out for each
Yeah.
month, but these 2 months that.
Well,
There's nobody there, should have been
There's nobody
0.
there.
Well, when you get up higher, the rate changes too.
Not
no,
for
does it?
sewer.
Not for sewer?
Nope.
Yeah, for sewer.
So maybe 1,000 cubic feet at what?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's like $50.
$474, $50 because the, like you say, the base rate stays. So
Yeah.
the most you're looking at is
But the-
$50.
Yeah.
Because you're averaging out to 2,700, but there's 2 months that
Well, that.
27.
That were
yes,
zero.
But you've got a little bit on one and a little bit on the other, so it averages out to about 1,200.
How'd you figure
1,200. Huh?
How'd you figure 1,200?
I just took,
Between the two dates, basically, right?
Right, but she's looking for basically a quarter, it's 3 months, so even
Right.
though it's not not a full quarter, it's
Right.
part of one quarter and the other part of another quarter. If the average was 2,700, that'd be 2,700 cubic feet.
Right.
but,
So it'd be about
and
100.
if there was no, actually, it would be, if there was nobody in there, then you're talking about another 3,000 on top of, about 3,000. If we were trying to get average usage, but we're looking at a house that was empty.
Looking at right, but you're also looking at flows that were in exceedance of an average
Right.
usage. So
Right.
If it was 2,700, that's 900 a month.
Well, Bob, in
Okay,
April, we were
so-
at 3,200 cubic feet, and in, July 20th, we jumped up to 3,900 cubic feet.
600. Yeah,
Yeah, then we
3,900, yeah.
balanced out at 4,500 cubic feet. So if you do 3,200 cubic feet would be a
Actually,
good
probably
base.
lost about 4,000, but
And jump up to 4,500, what'd you do? You misplaced
Probably a little bit
1,300 cubic feet.
probably gotta look at it about 4,000.
Yeah, but-
So,
For an empty house.
It's not an excess, it's, all of it
Yeah,
didn't go in
all
the
of it.
septic.
That's why- yeah,
It wasn't
I'm
just
just- I mean,
there
excess,
wasn't
none of it
average
went in the
usage.
septic.
What you're trying to do is subtract the average usage
Yeah,
for
nobody
1
was
month.
home.
Yeah, but we're not looking at average because it's supposedly.
I'm sorry, what months were they?
It,
We're not-
Right, what I'm
May,
saying is there was 1 month
June,
of
July,
average, so-
and then they came back in August.
So you got 2 months at 900 from, we got 1 month,
Yep.
May, and then June and July. So June and July would be the 3,900. So if you looked at so was the August bill, so would that be the 10?
That would be July, August, September. So there would be 1 month out of that one,
Out of the top one, yes.
right, out of the 4,600.
4,500, yeah.
Oh, sorry, 45.
So the 4,500 minus 900, which is an average month for it.
Yep,
So you have 3,400, 3,600.
yep.
And then you've got 1 month out of the 39. So the July bill would have been,
2 months out of that one,
you gotta subtract 1 month from that,
correct.
so 3,000. So you're looking at 36 plus 3,000.
Okay.
6,600.
6,600, okay.
6,600 is what went
No.
through the meter roughly.
But you,
During that time period,
go
yeah.
back to the, July, August, September. That would be 2 months' worth of usage. So you said 900 for that, but it'd actually be 2 months, because she was there August and September. So from the 4,500,
Right.
it'd be 1,800.
You're right.
Okay.
Okay, 1,800. And,
Usage, and then 900 for the other one, right? You said, for usage?
yep,
That you
Okay.
subtract.
Yep.
32 minus 9, and then 39 minus 18.
okay.
21 and 26, 47.
There we go. Now,
Yep.
the number just wasn't, what I was coming up with just wasn't making sense, okay.
4,700.
Okay.
222.78.
Okay, $220.
222.78.
Okay, agreement? Somebody wanna make a?
Make a motion, we paid her sewer bill
$222.78.
$222.78.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention?
Aye.
Okay, 401. Okay, 222.
So I take that off of my bill that I owe this month?
That,
You
Like, I
abstain?
still owe my bill because I didn't know what I was gonna pay, so I can take 222.78 off of that? Okay, thank you. Can I pay it here? No.
Yeah, I will do the abatement tomorrow.
Okay, so
In
can
the
I do it
system?
online? Can I pay it online, or can I leave you a check?
because it's a contested bill, it's probably best if you
Yeah, you'll have to, it won't show up online, correct?
Oh, okay, so how about if I mail in a check? Or-
You can, or you can come, yeah, you can mail it to the
I
treasurer
don't live around
collectors,
here. Yeah, my son does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't live here.
But I'll call you tomorrow, just to
Okay.
give you, and I'll send you a copy of the abatement.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
1B Fairview Ave. Back again. Have enough excitement in your neighborhood, you want some more?
Oh, there's definitely lots of excitement there. Slowed down recently, though. So after they finished all the water piping and everything, we noticed this one hookup for our unit. There are 3 separate, well, we're technically together, but there are 3 units, all together. How would we go about switching to town water versus the well?
Well, we hire a contractor that would do that work for you. Contractor would go to our curb stop or our lateral where we left. He'd run a line into your foundation, into your house. That's a single house there, just multifaceted. It's a single foundation.
If there's concrete in between.
Yeah, whatever, it's still a single,
Single structure.
single structure. And what they'll do is they'll we do like 3 separate meters, if that's what your wish is, to each individual apartment or whatever you have there.
They run one pipe in.
And then a main, and each would branch off, and each unit would get a meter, separate meter, and they would be, and each one would be responsible for their own water.
Yeah,
Is
just,
that what you're looking to do, is each unit will be,
yeah, we want to be separate because dealing with other people is a headache some days, so.
Is all your plumbing separate inside the building?
Yeah, so with the well now, there's one pipe that comes into one unit, and then it goes through and splits off all the way. There's like one main line.
the other units?
Similar situation.
Yeah, we just want to be separate because one of the people who has the pipe coming in gets water leaks in his house all the time, shuts the whole condo unit down.
Whoever's in charge of the house should be making it known to them the rules and regs of not to turn water off, or
It's not, it's a condo, but it's
It's
not.
not a condo.
It's, there's
Yeah,
no condo
those are one of those funky
association,
things that
you know?
Because we looked into trying to change the deed to separate units, but
Almost like it's like a duplex with 3 units, essentially, you know?
And you all own your own
Yeah,
yeah,
bit of air.
yeah. And we've had other issues with insurance and everything, so that's why we looked into trying to separate. But because it's deeded as a condo, we're kind of stuck.
Judge, I'm not familiar with the property. Wouldn't you be looking at 3 individual services?
No,
Say,
not for
three
that property, it's a
individual
single
apartments?
foundation property, there may be borders in between, it's one main.
I'm just saying so we don't get into an issue.
And
of,
actually, each
you
one
need
of
to
the,
separate.
each one of those owners should be dealing with each of their own pipes going in.
Yeah.
But I don't know who owns the building, I mean, that's not my thing, but.
Yeah.
It should be 3 services going in.
yeah, like 3 shut-offs at the street, essentially.
Right, right.
Because if
Right,
one of us
Somebody
doesn't pay,
their bill, everyone's
Right.
gonna get shut
that's what we talked about, we came here in June or July, and
Right.
they talked about doing 3 shut-offs just to be able to shut individual units off. And that's not what was done, that's what our question kinda was.
The contractor can still bring it from the curb stop and separate it out there with 3 separate shut-offs. It's off of one lateral.
So if
But if one person doesn't pay, you shut off the whole condo unit.
No, he's saying there's a line coming in, you split it 3 ways and put 3 valves before it goes.
Oh, before into the house?
They can't shut it, nobody can shut the water in the street side but us, or on the curb stop.
Yeah,
So whoever's shutting off their water can't, you'll have separate lines shut off in the house.
yeah.
in
I
where
was
your
just
meter
saying,
is.
like, if I didn't pay my bill, right, and you came to shut me off, you're gonna shut off the whole condo, right?
No. First of all, we don't do that unless it's something,
Well, I've
it's a
just used.
procedure, but.
Yeah.
No, nobody should be shutting anybody's water. It's illegal. You can't shut off somebody's water, even if you're the landlord.
Yeah.
Unless there's a broken pipe.
He's saying that if they don't pay their water bill,
And we go to.
we're gonna come shut them off.
Oh, no, there'd be an
They
investigation.
can just turn it right back on again because there's a ball valve in the basement.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, there's no, not worry about it. We do an
one of the other
investigation.
units, there's only one unit with the,
Can we put
what's
3
the
curb
pressure
stops off of one?
Sure.
regulator or whatever,
Right,
to the well.
yeah, so there would be,
What's the pressure
there would
on
be
that?
3. Oh, that's right at the bottom of Fairview.
85 pounds.
Oh, you're here.
That's, yeah, that's right next door to the house where the truck drove over the,
Oh, that is the house.
Oh, that's the house?
The
Oh, yeah.
car that rolled down the hill?
Yep.
No, the truck drove over the above-ground line and split it?
Oh, yeah, that's the
that's
next
our
house
house.
up.
That's the next house over, yeah.
up was
That's
that
what I
one.
was gonna say,
I called it in.
That's a single-family home.
Neighborhood.
I came home and there was this water pouring out along the pipes. I'm like,
Yeah, he missed his driveway and crushed the pipe.
I just can't believe he went inside and just left it pouring everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't know.
So in order to switch over, everybody has to agree, or can we just switch?
You can do yours now, and
Okay,
often somebody else can do it later.
okay.
Yeah, they could be added on and added on, they could be off the well for a while, or whatever they have, I don't know what the setup in there, but.
Yeah, there's one
Yeah,
well.
so there's one well and it's pretty awful, but,
It's a shallow well and we've had issues over the years, so.
but we're gonna get it tested for PFAS and everything anyway, so if that comes back, I don't know how that all works either. We still just pay,
Got cleanest water in town, so you'll be in good shape with us.
so we'd still pay a contractor and everything if the well is,
Although they'll actually get rid of the well, eventually, is the way.
At some
If they
point,
just
well,
do
will have to
theirs,
be-
the other two will use the what? Is there a meter on that well?
No, there's no sewer.
There's no sewer.
We have sewer, we have town sewer,
Do they?
yeah.
yeah.
So then there's
We
gotta
pay a
be.
flat rate, yeah.
So I don't know if we don't have access to that one unit where everything comes in,
So
so I
there's
don't
gotta
know
be.
if there's a meter there or not.
There's gotta be probably a
Yeah.
separate meter.
And otherwise, yeah,
There's gotta be
otherwise
one
there's
meter.
no, yeah.
Is there not the six fifty?
How's the bills paid now?
It's-
We split it right now.
Yeah, one person, pays it, but they all split it. So it's one bill that comes in for it.
Right, it's one.
You ever think of buying a whole house and kicking everybody else out?
I would like to,
Yeah, it'd be nice.
or we're
Got a
gonna
bunch
sell
of
it.
kids. Yeah. Okay,
And the water department will assist the contractor and whatever, they'll be there with them. So the contractor would call us, tell them,
Okay.
hey, we're here, it is, this, he'll have to pay his permits and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Okay,
so we'll help them.
Yeah, we were just concerned about like the one shut off being there.
Right.
And not
It
being
would be,
like,
there would end up being 3 curb stops off of the one line.
3 customers, yeah.
Yep, okay,
I mean, it would've been better if the contractor put
yeah. if-
three curbs off the
that's what we thought was gonna happen, that's why we were confused when we saw the one.
pressure there, so.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you guys are running off a well with all 3 units, so a well's only gonna be 30 to 50 PSI.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Plus, you don't have any
And you
idea,
only
but,
have 10 gallons a minute, so.
and you don't know what your neighbor's gonna be doing either, so this is where
Right.
you can get,
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so who, do you guys have any contractors or anything you guys have worked with or?
I have a
recommend?
complete
There's a
drain
li-
layers list at the
we have a list of
office.
the wanted
Yep.
contractors.
yeah, so listen, we can't get into recommending because that would be.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I have everyone that's licensed with the town,
Okay,
but they would need permission to hook up.
Right.
Okay, so,
Are you requesting connection now? Cause there's fees and stuff that go along with that. so.
yeah, we
Well,
just
that's
don't
the
know
other place
exactly
we
when
need
we
to-
would be doing it.
Right.
She's reached out to conservation, I think, who has to test the well or whatever, she was told.
No, conservation
No, I
will,
asked if they would.
Oh.
they do not test.
Okay,
You would have to hire a company, because of where you're located, you'd have to hire a company to test for PFAS, and you have to be sure that it's a license with the state that can do PFAS, because it's a particular test, and not all the labs do it, or
Okay.
companies do it. So,
Would that be
Again.
just on like mass.gov or?
yeah, if you go to the Mass DEP site, it tells you all about private wells
Okay.
and how to go about it.
But if you're gonna get off of it, why do you need to?
well, we're gonna see what contractors and everything's gonna cost as
Yeah.
well,
Because if I'm fronting it because they don't wanna do it,
Just so you know,
That's
what are
fine.
the tie-in fees now for the tie-in fee and the meter? That's upwards of,
Hold on, I got them right here.
on our end, it's just first step.
Yeah, we just gotta put everything together, cause,
So the connection fee, I can give you a copy of this, the connection fee is $2,000 plus a $650, a $350 permit application. But then they'd each be having their own meter, so it would be the $650 for the meter. So you're looking at, $3,000 just with us right there.
and is that, 650 per unit or is that just for one?
650 is for 1 meter,
For 1 meter.
so each meter would have to,
But if you get off the well, you don't have to worry about what they're doing.
Right.
yeah,
They'll still be on the well and.
Right.
So you're
Okay.
testing for PFAS to try to use that to go after somebody to get this paid for? Is that what the theory?
we were just
No,
concerned.
I just don't want to ingest.
We've been concerned for a while about
Yeah.
it, and,
The PFAS test is not cheap.
yeah.
No, I know.
If your intention is to connect, you're probably better off not wasting that money.
It's probably about this,
Towards
yeah,
the
I was
fee.
gonna say, it's
Yeah.
more to test.
The test is
'Cause
probably around the meter connection. the meter.
Yeah, I dealt with it in
Okay.
Charlton. I lived near that fiasco. My house was on Eleanor Lane. And, so I dealt with the whole testing like every month, and it was,
That testing's cheap compared to the PFAS.
oh, I'm sure. It was all
That-
paid
that
for.
was VOC.
It was all paid for over there. I didn't have to pay for anything, but it was a headache for 3 years over there.
Seriously, if you're talking $3,000 here, when you think about it off the top of your head.
Plus your
total
contractor
job,
fees.
You're talking $9,000. no matter
Oh, yeah.
what you look at. You think about it, everyone included.
Yeah, so that's why we just gotta figure out the funds before we,
I'll put it out, getting prices, but.
And that's where it would be,
3,000 starts.
you split the big part of, a part of it, and then,
yeah, the contractor, and we can
and then
split. if-
you'd
If they
each have
go
your
for
own,
it.
if all three of you agreed to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is what part of the issue would probably be.
Okay,
But
but yeah, when you're ready, yeah, when you're finished doing there shouldn't be a problem with getting a connection.
They don't want to yet, because they don't know what they're gonna be doing yet.
we wanna make sure we can come up with the funds and everything before we
Yeah.
go through the permit situation.
Right, we don't want to waste anyone's time.
Once we start it, there's renewals and
Clock starts and all that.
clock starts.
Yeah.
and, having open permits out there for long periods of
Yeah,
time, just,
so if we go to do it, do we have to come to another meeting, or?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
but yeah, you're on the right direction, and Jen, you can work with them, answer questions, and till it comes time, you just need to come to us just to get the permission to,
If you email me, so that I have your email, I can send you the drain layers list,
Okay,
okay, and everything, just so you have all the information,
Okay.
okay?
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Okay, number 6 is not here. I guess I'll ask for consent to take him out of order, take 9 out of order, because he's sitting here. Anybody have an issue with that?
Nope.
Okay, Joe? So you have some,
I'm back. Just,
you have some questions about the easement?
what's that?
You have some questions about the work on the easement?
That, yes. Okay, on November 13th, 14th, they were doing work back there. So I went back out and they were starting to do final grading. So I had mentioned to them and asked them, I think, I forget who, the foreman was that day, Jack. And I asked him what was going on with maybe an access road that we had talked about. And he said that he didn't know. The next morning, he's knocking on my door, and he wants me to he said he was sent by Gil to give them a letter indemnifying them from anything that can happen with them doing this road.
You shouldn't have, well, okay,
Well,
yeah.
continue, and I think you ended up, we went to the property and we were talking
Oh,
up
that's when we
there.
met over here. in
We were
the-
down there, and then we went up to the property,
Yep.
and you had suggested that I go to talk with Concom. So I have gone to the Conservation Commission, and I spoke with Matt Morrow and explained what was going on with him. Because there are fees that are involved and planning and all of this and all of that. And he suggested that I come and talk with you to get this going, because he said if it, in his opinion, if it has something to do with the easement and the work that's going on there, because of the fees and stuff, the town does not pay fees. And the town should be the ones that are working on this. Then he said that he was gonna get in touch with, he was probably gonna get in touch with somebody. But the main thing is that, are they done working on the easement as far as finishing back there? Because,
I believe it's landscaped, they've got it, they've got all the, topsoil down, and I believe they seeded it. I haven't been back there since.
oh, it's been seeded and
Seeded, yeah.
and hayed and all
put
that.
hay. And then, you know, in the spring, if, depending on what happens over the winter, if there's any repairs that need to be made, and then it'll be, should be pretty much done. They were supposed to return everything as close to original grade as, from when they started.
Okay,
Obviously, you can't, it won't go back to exactly the way it was, but as close as they can.
well, there's still some, parts of the stone wall that haven't been put back.
Okay, now that, there may, and again, there'll be some punch list stuff. Yeah, because they are gonna be back in the spring to do some work.
Okay,
We will have punch list tasks to be done.
is that road or whatever, or the fill that was gonna be put in, is that also gonna be done at that point?
I don't, I mean, again, like I said, that day, anything as far as putting fill back there outside of the easement, that would be between you and the contractor, between you and DEG. We can't get involved in that. That's outside of the easement. Legally, we have no say about what happens outside of that easement. We have no control over that, we have no jurisdiction.
Joe, did the town say they would give you permission to do this work?
Conservation, yeah.
They said conservation.
To talk to conservation for
They-
setbacks for the
I mean, you're-
wetlands and things like that.
This all started when the manhole was put in the wrong place.
Right.
And that day, Gil from GEG said that in lieu of moving that and doing all of that stuff, he would go and fill in and build something there as far as a road.
Okay, that's Gil, again, that's the contractor, that's.
Who's the foreman?
It was Adriano and Jack, but Adriano was mostly up on our side of town.
Adriano's the one that came out and said that.
Dave and John were both there that day.
But I think it was Adriano. He came out and said he'll do whatever you want to rectify the situation. So that's on him to do whatever you needed done.
No, that was that previous,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I'm getting at is where's the town, like, even if I'm a contractor coming in to do this work and dumping material into an area that I don't own or know anything about or have been approved for, you know, then
I mean,
somebody has,
Outside of the markings of that easement, we can't get involved in it. We're legally not allowed to. That's because it's not our property. We don't have right to it. We only have right to the easement, and then now that the pipe is in the ground, the only aside from closing off access, no permanent structure can be placed on top of the easement. Other than that, I mean, really, and we're.
Well, is a road
required
considered a permanent easement
Nope.
or a
building.
permanent structure?
You can't put a building there.
You can put
Okay,
Put a road across it, because if something were to happen, we would have to dig it up. We just cut the road and put it back after. If you put a house on top of it, well, we can't go and jackhammer out the basement floor to get at our pipe. We could, but it would be a major mess.
so any fees or anything else that goes on with that, consulting or anything else, that's all me?
outside, anything outside of the easement, we can't get involved in it.
I think if you, sorry, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
if you got an agreement with the contractor to fix in lieu of the manhole,
He should be responsible for all
he
that.
should be responsible for the fees.
Yeah, we were at the point where we were saying, gonna tell them, okay, just move it. Get it out, move the manhole, and it was, I believe it was, you had said, no, don't do that. I mean, it would be at great expense.
Adriano said, that's what he said, we'll do whatever you want to fix it, and he said, could you fill in that area and make it, access? I remember the conversation when we were out there.
Yeah.
He said, we'll do whatever you want, so that should be on him to,
But that,
Take care of whatever needs to be
we-
done,
we can't be an intermediary in that. It's not within our legal responsibility.
I mean, I would talk to them, and if he can't do what you want him to do, then come back to us and say he's not willing to fix whatever he needs to fix, and we'll have to discuss moving the manhole and repiping it. That's gonna be a huge expense to him, so I don't see why he would not take on the fee to get your stuff done. I mean, that was just stupidity. I have no idea how they could end up putting a manhole in the wrong spot. So that was what was said at that meeting when we went out there. He said he would do whatever you needed to resolve it, to make you happy. If whatever you're saying you want done is to make you happy, then
They still have to-
discuss that with him, tell him, do whatever you gotta do. I mean, you got engineers and stuff, have them fill out whatever paperwork you need to, and
The sifting operation, has that been cleaned up yet? Is all that
They're
dirt-
starting to, but it's a ways to go.
All that dirt is still there?
They put wattles around it and everything like that, so it's secure.
Gonna sit there for the
them.
winter?
Most of it, or some of it, they're gonna try to move up. We're taking a lot of the gravel out of for us. So they're gonna be moving some of that up to our place.
Okay, but that's,
There'll still be some stuff there, I think.
yeah.
They're
No,
trying.
And that, it was just and I commented there, they've got that, they've gotta move it to someplace. It
Well,
works, but that's gotta be between you guys, we can't get involved in that.
Did the conservation say it's your property, you're allowed to do whatever you want there? There's there restrictions, or?
Well,
you gotta go through the process. They're not
Yeah.
gonna say anything
Yeah.
until he applies for it.
I don't know where he just, that day, originally Gil was the one that said, this was back, I forget exactly when it was, in September, when we noticed that the manhole's in the wrong place. Gil came out that day when we were out there that first day and said, because of that, we've got all the material here, it's nothing to bring Phil back. Well, all the big bones and all the nice material all the bones are gone. So I had expected some type of riprap there or whatever, and because it's more than a couple of feet. So, and he said, we're not gonna be doing any work here to finish up until the spring anyway. So whether he jarred his schedule and they got everything, cleaned up out there ahead of time. But, that's like, so now I'm wondering, is this just a moot point? Because I don't know exactly how far he was intending on putting the road. I don't know anything about how he was intending to build it or engineer it. There's that 200-foot wetlands buffer that's in there. If it comes into that, right off the top, I've heard that, there's a 250 feet to file. There's engineering that's got to be, all of that stuff. That should not be coming out of my pocket. And as far as conservation goes, Matt said the same thing. None of this should come out of your pocket. It's a result of what happened with the easement. So whether he does it or not, Adriano, is he one of the bosses?
Yeah, he's one of the four.
He was the supervisor that came out at that meeting.
One of the people, yeah.
Was he the one that was there the day when we had the meeting?
Yeah, all the engineers and
Yeah,
trying to figure out how we put a manhole in the wrong spot.
yeah.
He was the contractor that said, we'll do whatever to make you happy to fix that.
Right.
Yeah, But again, like I said, anything outside of the easement area, we don't have jurisdiction there. So
As a homeowner, you can say.
Right, but what I was saying is that he needs to go to GEG, tell him, hey, this is what you said, this is the process you have to go through to do what you said. If they don't move forward, they say, well, we're not gonna do that,
See us.
then come see us and say, all right, we're not accepting the way the manhole is, you're gonna have to move it, take it off the property, put it where it's supposed to be. And now you've got joints where there shouldn't be a joint, so dig it up all the way back down to the pump station, get it out of that area. Where it's supposed to be. There's just two options.
Okay.
So you'll have to stay in touch till the springtime so we can bring it up once work resumes.
Is there gonna be a walkthrough to go up there and, I mean, it's a minor thing, but it needs to be addressed. I mean, the wall, the stones and all
yeah,
that.
there will be a walkthrough to be able to generate a punch list at what's considered significant completion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's substantial.
Make sure you're
I knew I didn't have the right word.
in on the walkthrough too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'll get in touch with G&G and, I'll talk with him. And the only thing I wanted to bring up now, is that at one of the meetings, it was, it might have been in July, Jeff Faulkner, after they had moved those pipes, and I brought up the fact that, you know, the depth of the pipes and all that, he said that they were gonna go out there and do a test pit. Well, I was out there those days when they were working, they didn't do a test pit.
Okay.
And I know that it was brought up and you guys were aware of it here also. There was no, not that I noticed, and I was there most of the day when they were doing it. So if they're gonna be giving you some plans and stuff to try and let you know where that was, you know, the elevation of the pipes are, I didn't see them doing any of that.
Okay.
Was that the water or the sewer that you were concerned about?
The water,
That was a water main.
yeah.
So the water's duct aligned. We have equipment that we can connect to gate box or whatever, and it'll tell us the depth of the pipe and where it is. So we'll see what they put in, because they need to give us as-bills.
Yeah,
We'll take the as-built so we can go out there and verify.
okay. Just that because he,
Yeah, I know you brought that up, I got that in my notes.
yeah, it was,
That's,
just real sketchy. And it's a small point, but I've still been trying to find a set of specs on the job. Does anybody know if is there a,
I emailed Jeff Faulkner for it.
Do we have the
contract books.
You wanna look through 'em?
Oh, yeah, I know, I mean, they're this thick. I mean,
That's why I emailed Jeff to ask if I could just get the specs, but I haven't heard
They
back.
may not have them ready yet. John makes all those up as he goes along, takes notes down, and then he compile the notes.
No, that's as-bills.
Right.
That's as-built. He's
He's
talking
looking
about,
for the-
talking
he's
about
looking for the
what was
specs
the original
There should
spec
be-
on the
should
bid.
in the
Scope of work?
In the contract.
contract, it should show, pipe should be this, it should be at this depth, it should be this material, it should be, you know, it's an SRF
These pitches,
project, so it's gonna
whatever.
be. That's
Probably got it
made.
somewhere.
It should
that's
be,
supposed to be, that's part of the construction documents. It should be on,
Yeah,
it should be here somewhere or down at the job site trailer.
I'm sure it's in one of those books. We've got
Like you
a
say,
stack
it's-
of books about,
it's big.
so tall right now of all the contracts that are there. Just,
is there specific specs that you were looking for, the water pipe or?
you know, what was the spec for the depth of the pipe there?
I'm looking at compaction because they have no idea what compaction is.
I brought that up and that was discussed at one of the meetings out there as well.
It's sad. And stuff is, even on Fairview Ave, is starting to cave in again. I mean, there are ruts in the road, you go around the corner at that hard corner, and going up Wausau Ave,
Warsaw is.
It's unbelievable. I mean, Main Street,
Still supposed to shim it, I,
Main Street is a joke.
still supposed to shim that. They're waiting on permission from the state to be able to do West Main Street. I believe they're gonna come out and shim everything.
They just received permission today.
They did. Oh, okay, well, I know that was,
This afternoon, DOT sent an email to Emily.
okay,
Without the extension of the permit, they can correct the compaction.
they can, okay, basically, that's shim overlay for the winter time. Yep, okay, so if that's been, is that day work or night work? Did they say it had to be done at nighttime, or?
They did not
I
say.
would say nighttime.
I would assume it's
Well,
nighttime.
yeah, but when it's that cold, can you lay asphalt when it's?
They got heated bodies and, yeah.
It's below the temperature regardless,
I mean, during the day,
because their spec is 40 degrees and rising.
oh, okay,
We don't have any 40-degree days now,
not really, no.
but there's nothing you can do, so they're gonna have to fix the trench. Do a patch that's, DOT's requirement is you put a temporary patch in, then you gotta come in and mill out 7 inches, I'm not sure what it is in this district, but I think it's 7 inches.
Yeah, they didn't mill that much. I know, when they milled during that overnight paving for, the grid. I know they didn't go down that deep, but,
Well, their standard
But
spec
they-
is
yeah.
7 inches.
seven?
You do it in
Okay.
lifts. They have exactly what mix you're supposed to use and what the compaction are that you need to use. They required, nuclear compaction testing on it when we did it, so. They're very
Okay, well,
stringent, and I know
that's-
you're dealing with Kevin Robenheimer there, and he's not the easiest guy to deal with.
and that's.
And that was
He
a
will
nice,
stick by the book.
yep, it was a big lengthy email.
Well, and that's,
And I'll guarantee he said it a dozen times, and then, oh, our standard spec is blah, blah, blah.
that will be between, to be honest, that's between GEG and Ty and Bond, to make sure it's done right.
Yeah.
That's what we're paying for.
Like I said, Kevin and Kevin's boss don't stray from their specs.
Okay, well, they know that, so. Yep, so as I understand it, they've marked, there are spots atop of Ellis, Warsaw, I believe they're down on Fairview, they've got some spots that they need to, that they know that it's all marked, it's painted. What's his name, John? Walked down there and spray paint, I saw him on the route, I drive the route a couple times a week just to see, what's changed. And he was out there spray painting marks for areas that needed to be shimmed. It's on the, it's on the radar,
Okay,
scheduled to be done.
okay. Well, thank you. I will get in touch with GEG, and you'll probably see me again.
Okay,
Happy to see
so
you.
we will.
Have a good holiday, guys.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, let us know how you make out.
Okay. Eisenhower Pump Station acceptance.
Yeah, the town administrator approached me that the town itself is going to be looking at accepting Eisenhower Drive and what our status is with the pump station. The Haney Fund, as they call it, has about 10 grand left in it, I think, or maybe a little under. He's not going to be doing anything on, as far as the developer goes. He's done with the whole thing.
He's watching.
So, as we stand right now, barring some, updated information, we're probably left about 7,000 left to what we have to do at the pump station, putting rails, pumps, and a alarm system and a plug-in for the generator, for the portable generator. That's about it. That'll,
Is that the one with the spare pump was down, or one of the pumps was
the
down?
one we had put some pumps in now, we had a jury rig pumps in there. I had to go down in the wet well and set them up in there.
That's a wet well, so.
We
it
can't.
Absolutely has to be fixed.
It has to be fixed. I'm not gonna have people down in there working on it like we've been, the poop dropping on you. So,
But are the both pumps,
a couple of years now, the pumps have been working well. We got some, and now we have to replace them with the pumps for the rails that we're gonna get, conform them and put them in, and put the electrical do the electrical work and the plug-in for the generator, plus the alarm system for the station, like the other stations are alarmed for emergency notifications. So
Changing the pump or just putting the rails?
we're changing the pumps, yeah. And we'll keep those pumps, because those are still good pumps.
It's gonna be more than $6,000.
It's gonna be more than $6,000.
It's, we got quote in there was, I forgot, it was 5 something, and electrical work, I can't tell you, that's something out of our control, we don't know what the cost of that will be. But the quote we had got back then was somewhere in the 5 range. I
We
mean,
gave
it
you
goes,
a quote for 2 new pumps with rails.
Rails, yeah.
Installed for
Yeah.
$5,000.
that was, what, a year or 2 ago?
Years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
It's gonna be that now.
Well, it's all, I'm gonna be able to, I don't know if they're gonna give me all that money, I'm gonna try for it, but,
I can't see you getting just the
But-
rails installed.
I think the bottom line is, at least my vote will be that we will not accept that station
That's for sure.
until it is 100%. End of story.
I don't know if they'll give me all that money, and if it's enough or not, I don't know.
Who's he?
The town, it would be under the selectmen's purview to vote
And
for
we
it.
need to get a new quote for that system, for
And I
that pump
believe-
station to upgrade it, because that's what we're gonna ask the town for,
I
whether they
believe Mike
use
was
it.
working for them, but Mike
We're
was
working on that now, we're trying to, the guy hasn't gotten back
I
with
mean-
all the information we need.
Nuts to bolts, I mean, pumps, the rails, electrical done, what's it gonna cost? And it's not costing us nothing. If they wanna spend all that money they have
Wow.
left and more, that's
Be
fine.
careful, you're providing a sewer service that you're getting paid for, and if you don't have full control of that station, this is gonna, like the problem we had way back when we took on this project. It was left hanging high and dry, and we already had a problem there, where luckily we had the pumps to put in there, where the pumps went
But
down.
they can initiate, the town can initiate a betterment on all those properties in order to get the stuff fixed. If that is what's necessary, then that's what they'll have to do.
They'll have to
We
do
just got
that,
an email-
otherwise I'm-
We just got an email today from, it was from, the 18th, December 18th, there's a meeting, joint meeting between the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board to discuss this and to discuss what the options are for going forward in order to pay for what is needed to get that road accepted.
That includes the
And-
road and us.
And the word
both.
betterment is
So
in
you
there.
need to get that station,
If they have to do a betterment for $15,000, well then,
So-
15 houses,
whatever it
that's
takes to
$1,000 a
get
house.
that top of the line
Done.
station.
Did
that's
you
what it's
see
gonna
the other
cost.
part of that email? That they want a letter, they would like a letter from the water sewer commissioners verifying that they are okay with the amount available from escrow.
If the amount available from escrow is enough to pay for the fixing of the station, then fine. We're working on, when our personnel were notified that the town was looking at that, our personnel started doing their job to try to get the numbers. Mike has been working on trying to get an updated quote. What, they must have notified us last week? He's been working on it. I know that I've been in the office a couple times, and I was there when he came in and asked for, he asked you for a copy of the original quote.
Yep.
So that he could go back, and I'm assuming that this all happened not too much previous to that.
No.
Was that a day or two?
A week or so.
A week, okay, I mean, that's reasonable with everything else going on. So, it's not like we're sitting on anything. We'll do our due diligence to find out how much it's gonna cost, and
George, when you get the quote, make sure we all see it before.
Yeah, cause
Yeah.
you're talking $20,000, the minimum. Electrical, rails,
Electrical,
pumps,
rails, installed,
piping.
pipes, pumps, yeah.
And the town still wants money for the final pavement and the, work, the storm drains along the sides of it and everything, catch basins.
any of that kind of stuff's not our,
But
I don't care what happens with that.
You're talking a lot of money. Two
As a
departments.
taxpayer, I do.
I don't even know if they started a betterment yet on that whole thing. I don't even know if they started any kind of betterment on that. I heard no
That was,
news on that.
I know that the email, we did receive a copy of the email this morning?
This afternoon.
This afternoon, okay, I know I saw it come across.
I have it right here.
Oh, you have a copy of it there, I mean, that's,
Well, if he's looking for an okay, if we send them back, say, in our estimate, it's gonna be 20,000.
Who'd you call, Judge? for your son.
Maroney, I guess, is one name, and there was another one, I think.
Because you were having good luck with that one company that helped you out with a.
Yes,
house
that's-
down on
yeah.
Down at Lakeview.
Yeah, yeah.
I read it, so.
See what he comes, see what he comes.
That was forwarded out to everybody, right?
No, it was to you because I knew we were gonna talk about it tonight.
Oh, okay, all right, so that wasn't,
Because they were looking for a letter for the joint meeting on the 18th.
okay.
So I just wanted to make sure I
So,
would bring it.
we can generate one for the 18th, but that's contingent on the fact that in the next 12 days,
Right,
Mike can get
Some bids.
a decent quote for what's gonna be needed to fix that, and it need to make sure that if that's just for pumps and rails, that all of the work is in there. Find out what it's gonna cost to get the electrical work done, because
Mr. Chairman?
it's not our responsibility to make that whole. It's just
Mr.
not.
Chairman, he's looking for a letter. Can we send him a letter saying that we're working on it, and our estimate, it's gonna be about 20,000 to bring that?
Yeah, I wouldn't
I'm gonna plug a number yet.
plug a number in at all, because we don't know.
I don't know.
I know the quote from a couple years ago was $6,000, but that's, I mean, with everything else that's gone on, supply chain,
Are you all set? Remember, we talked about raising some structures there on it?
He did.
They did.
that's all been done.
That's,
You know?
That's
yeah,
all been done.
the well's fine, everything, but it's,
But it needs rails and it.
the rail system,
There's absolutely no reason why somebody should have to go down in that hole to work on that pump.
No way.
No way.
Break it, pull it out.
And it has to have a generator,
Right,
at least a generator plug, so.
right.
You have to match our unit.
So, I mean, that's just putting in a ground fault and it shouldn't be a lot, but I don't know where's the electricity gonna come from? That's all underground utilities up there, isn't it?
and we have an
Right,
access.
but it's a portable
But a
generator.
portable
You guys
generator, we
roll
come
down
in, we
and
plug into
in,
that,
so
we just have to run
They
the,
have to have the right plug.
Oh, to be able to operate those pumps, yes.
Yeah, off of our
Yes,
truck, the one
off of
we
our
pull.
truck, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
conduits are there, everything's there to move wire through if we have to, that's already been done.
Oh, that,
Right to
the
the
infrastructure's
control
been done?
box, yeah.
So it's just a matter of getting okay, so yeah, that shouldn't be too bad then.
I need a disconnect.
That might be, you know, that might be just a couple thousand,
We have everything there, aside from a plug-in and a alert system.
because it's, for the town, it's gotta be prevailing wage. So, but yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be a huge expense.
The other part's gonna be huge.
But yeah, the other part is, yes. Tying a number to it would be just a,
What size pumps?
that's a dot.
Forget the brand.
Is it
I don't
okay
shoot
if I
dots very
reply
well.
back that we have not received all the quotes yet, and no letter will be generated until all quotes are
Yeah,
received?
we'll let you know as
Perfect.
as soon as,
I just want to reply so that I've done my part.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
waiting for quotes.
as soon as we get quotes, we have a better idea of the cost, the 2024 costs. Anything further there? Okay. Potash Brook Interceptor Report. I know that came in Monday. They gave us a quote, a bid, a proposal for, I printed it out and added some maps that I already had copies of. I read through it, I mean, looks like a typical proposal. But if anybody, the proposed cost of the whole thing is $230,100. And the schedule for being able to make things flow, means starting in January. We authorize it now, they'd start in January, and be ready to go out to bid a year from now. And then spring of 2025, do the work. The issue we have is, we have the money in retained earnings, but how do we get at it? The only way to get at it's a town meeting. So I asked the question, you know, can we spend from our budget until May and then backfill it with retained earnings? Do we need to have a special town meeting? Or, you know, how can we do this? I'm still not sure if we can. Well, I think we can make up about half of it out of the budget, but that's counting on nothing else happening between now and May. Is that about right? It's about half. I think that's what we came up with.
Between which line items?
Capital.
Capital,
So I don't know if this counts as capital. For one, it's
Design, it's not.
Right.
So,
It's the only
capital
place.
aspect to it. I mean, you.
I mean, we
you
have.
can utilize the money
We
within
can
any
use
of
this
that.
money.
Right.
The only thing we can't use is salary money.
So you have 24,550 left in engineering.
Right.
Right. That's why, so that makes about half of it. The thing is, that counts on the fact that assumes the fact that
Yeah, nothing happens.
nothing happens. Nothing breaks, nothing,
So you can't sign the contract unless you have the full funding in place. So you'd have to have them write up a proposal for the engineering to.
it would be the first two lines,
Schematic.
which is about $100,000. That's the first two parts of it.
That's 94,000.
And that's, those first two parts, that's the preliminary design and, actually preliminary design and sub-consultant, which is about $100,000. And that, in the time schedule from the page before, their time, that puts us into May 2024. So I guess if they split it in half, we could do it that way.
So, yeah,
But that's, or do we ask them ask us to sponsor a one question special town meeting as soon as possible? That would be in January.
it's gonna take them all winter. If you can get the preliminary design and the preliminary design sub-consultant cost, because surveying's in there, that's the first thing they're gonna have to do.
Right.
Did we not already CCTV all that area? I thought that
No,
was-
they didn't do the CCTV because they couldn't get rid of any waste. If they ended up with waste, they had nowhere to get rid of it because of the Cinegrove stuff.
Didn't we have money set aside for that? Did we move that money to something?
Some of that money was put into Alton Drive area where we found infiltration.
That
too.
no, that money, that
Did we
was,
switch that to the Nichols work?
we switched that to cover, work.
Oversight for the Nichols?
Oh, yeah, oversight for the I&I, because it's close to the same thing.
10,000, I think.
Yeah, it was about $10,000.
So anyway, you're gonna have to do the surveying in order to even start the preliminary
Right.
design, so you need the 94,400. So
Yeah.
I'd have them redo this,
If they can.
redo this and
Split it.
then put, task 1A, 1B, be funded now, task 2, 3, and 4 to be funded and acted upon after town meeting.
May town meeting. Okay, that's,
That way you're only agreeing to what you have funds for. And you're putting the stipulation to fully fund after you get approval of town meeting.
work on that. Call Ty and Bond tomorrow and see if we can get that. Okay.
Paul?
That's why we're a committee. I kept looking at it, trying to figure out, okay, how the hell are we gonna do this? But I didn't think we could sign a contract that we didn't have the funds to pay for. That's not good business.
So, group health insurance, we got 54,000 that shows non-expended.
They haven't sent us a bill.
They haven't sent us a bill.
And is that an estimate based on the number of employees we have?
Yes.
Yes.
And what the contract is with the trust.
Overtime, you're no way near.
No.
Right. Well, we'll get into that. And yeah, I mean, it's,
You can all, if there's money left in salaries, you can, at town meeting, transfer from salaries.
we can move it at town meeting, but we can't expend it now.
What'd you say, Bob, capital, take some money out of capital?
Between capital and engineering.
Engineer, yeah.
So there's 120,000, 130,000.
34,000.
My budget copies. Yeah. I have copies here somewhere. I had it all marked up, that's.
Rest of them was small, yeah, right there. You told you, okay. Rest of them was small.
Nope, that's water.
It's water.
That's sewer.
Sewer.
There's one of these is marked up because I wrote all over it. Oh, there it is, right here. Yep. Yeah, you took them.
Gave them to him.
Oh, they mixed these.
Okay, yeah.
Spent anything on metering?
Yes,
Buying meters, yep.
yes. He ordered some a while ago and there'll be more. So we're split, yes.
They usually order that. Typically buy those as,
So where do we stand with the meter replacements as it is? I know we kinda went a little heavier.
We still have, I'm trying to think. It's maybe less than a quarter left.
But,
about 75%.
but how much do we have in stock, just because?
I don't know.
I don't think that we've had staff available
But
to
we
go
had-
around and put meters in, so.
Oh, they've been doing it.
Yeah,
They do it
Brian
on a
had been-
moderate basis right now, not like it's heavy hitting, but we've also been doing the GPS stuff too, so that's been
'Cause I
taken.
mean, I know you guys got a lot on the table, so I just was
Yeah.
curious if they're out changing meters, if they're not.
The flyers have been going out, so. it's
Well, they've
responsible.
changed meters if you're working on a job, like you say, go do a service call and you see it's an old meter.
Right,
I've
that's-
seen that change,
That's a few here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Hit and run.
$50,000
Yeah.
worth of meters, that's a lot of meters.
I agree.
And if we've got a stockpile, I'd rather
I
not
know
have
he-
them getting outdated.
What do you
and
have,
sitting-
how many do you have
Left
on
over,
hand right now?
probably about 4 or 5 boxes left, spread out and around.
How much is in a box?
10 meters, 10 of the special ones, what do you call 'em? But they got,
He's
have some are
looking
open,
to
some we
change out
brought in
all of
from
Wysocki.
sewer system,
They're
it's hard to say.
integrated meters?
Integrated
With the
meters,
radios with the meters?
yeah. I'm thinking about trying to get the sewer more involved in that too, for the winter time. Start having them move those meters out there too, but we have to see how our finances are gonna do with that. More meters.
Yep,
I was just curious, because there might be potential money there if we need to move forward.
sure. Well, I mean, there is some ability to move money, but we're just, we're spending,
There's just
filling
some-
out the meter halfway through the year. I mean, the meter, the budget halfway through the year,
Right, we're halfway through the year, but
encumbering it.
we're at
Yeah.
32%.
Yep. Okay, so any more questions on the Potash Brook interceptor? So if we can get that, split out like that is, I guess we need to determine, are we gonna sign it? Anybody have an issue with that? How do we need a motion to do that? Yes, we need a motion to accept it. So if we can get that split out, do we, what's the feeling of the board as far as, signing the contract?
Well,
proposal.
Have we got any estimate on any additional I&I that you've been doing? Have you come up with any kind of estimate on how much you've found that can be eliminated?
Believe it or not, right now, our findings have been at Nichols, and we've been finding a lot of potential there. So we're kinda going on that, so that Paul can generate a report, what it's been found, what's been fixed, and they've done a lot of fixing already. And I'm sorry to say, I wish it was raining a lot more, because we can actually get somebody over there, and Paul too, to watch the flows and, but from what, and Justin's been wonderful to help and coordinate that up there, and, they still got a few things left to go into more in depth. But needless to say, I think we have enough already to generate a report that we probably have eliminated a lot of infiltration in that area right now. I'm pretty confident that you're talking swales with manholes down in the swales. I mean, almost under the ground level down, where water's just filling it, some broken manholes, some on the bottom. We've had some casting that was damaged. They took care of all that. Some unknown pipes that come out of the old buildings that were should have been capped further on. They weren't. They were left further out. Things like that. They found that. You know, all these things are being done out there. Now we're moving our way towards Tanyard Road, towards the pump
Okay,
station side.
that's all answering some of the infiltration, but we still have a problem with an insufficient interceptor.
Yes and no. If you read the report, it was sufficient during normal flow.
During
Yeah.
normal
If you
flow.
eliminate the
Well,
I&I,
you're gonna,
it might be okay, solve the problem.
yeah.
But
I don't think we're gonna know until we get rain,
Well,
and might have to meet it.
I can tell you from what we found already, and Paul thinks it is substantial what we found already, and what has been corrected already. So
But-
I'm going with his lead on this right now to go further on, finish the job up there, see what we can find out, and
But you don't think they're gonna ask us how much?
right, that's my point. So
Yeah.
I think you two witnessed a 6-inch pipe, pretty much flowing solid. Do we know if that, whatever was contributing to that pipe, did that?
I can't say for sure, we
that
haven't had any
found?
rain that.
That's what I mean.
You know, we're waiting for some,
They're gonna ask us, how much did you alleviate?
Yeah. So
We
the
can't
college
say a
provided
lot.
Ty and Bond, all of that data, so that you could do a hydraulic calculation to figure out, if I correct all of these things, which we are, how much does that eliminate? So you can actually calculate it and get an engineered report.
That's hoping that that's the only problem in that.
Right, we've done some pretty good investigative work up there now, and Paul's kind of been directing it, more so to look at things that we haven't looked at, there's a lot of the main system has been replaced, there's a lot of, areas that we've worked on in the last 10 years, so we're exploring all these other areas and that's what we're finding all the problems, really, so. The whole system was cambered about 12 to 15 years ago, prior to me getting there. I guess it was tight, so.
The caution I have, is we have a long history of kicking the can down the road. This has been an issue for as long as I can remember. This report says something about 5 in the last,
2010.
5 since 2010, 6 since 2010. I remember back in the 90s, seeing bubble ups in front of Marty's. That's been going on forever. At some point, this is gonna have to be fixed, and the further we kick it down the road.
well, we're not
the worse
essentially
it's gonna
kicking it down the road, we're working
I
on
know,
one
if we
part
get-
of the problem.
If we get the infiltration taken
And it'll also
care of.
help us with even the moratorium and allowing some tie-ins. If the DEP allows it, they'll say, okay, that's fine. You're working on the problem. You've gained this much ground, blah, blah, blah. Now you're gonna move down further and work on the other problem, which we know we have to work on.
But just by alleviating some of it, we don't wanna lift the moratorium and put the levels back up again. We wanna fix the problem, 'cause like Scott said, it's,
Still need to get this engineering done. One way or another, it's gotta get done.
Well, you gotta look at a few things when you do that, because engineering is only good for a few years.
Right.
So
Exactly.
Unless you have every intention of moving forward with the construction.
Right.
For the big bid.
You know, if you're thinking that we don't have the funds for 5 years, and that's the point that I'm getting at, if they found enough I&I to alleviate overflows, sanitary sewer overflows, if you alleviated that so we're not having them, you could
Okay.
allow a few connections, and then, you know, instead of trying to tighten the budget up right now and not let them do projects that we planned, I mean, the money was earmarked for certain things.
Right.
So, again, you're saying let's not kick the can down the road, but you're kicking other cans down the road because we budgeted that money to do other things. So,
Okay.
if we wait and properly move forward with this and budget it for next year, you know, I mean, we still have a lot of projects going on
Okay,
now,
so-
so.
I
I'm
understand that.
just trying to throw out information here, so everybody's not just blindly.
So we've got one section of it that is, during the wet weather, that's at 140% of capacity.
Right.
That's the worst section of it, and that's in the beginning, so I'm assuming that's the stretch from West Main Street to halfway down the easement.
But all that flow is coming from.
Yeah, and yeah, if it's infiltration flow, then we eliminate the infiltration, we solve the problem, but we still have a,
Well, we saw part of the problem.
it's not part of the problem, we still have a capacity issue right halfway through our system.
It's a capacity issue if you want to expand a lot. But according to that report, during normal flows, it's sufficient.
Right. Okay, I
So
mean,
it's just under wet weather. If we can eliminate all the I&I, then you're good.
so what do we wanna do with this?
Like I said, I'm just throwing information out there. We're spending a lot of money on a lot of projects.
We've got
to
some
fix
time.
problems.
We've got some time right now. We're continuing our work up there. We're waiting for a rainy day, I hate to say it.
Wait for snow melt
Okay.
and rain.
And I wanna see, we wanna get everybody on board when that
I will go on
happens.
the record here, I will not vote yes on lifting the moratorium until we know for a fact that we don't have a problem anymore.
Well, that's up to the engineers to write a report on that. That's gonna be their call and what they find.
Okay? I'm not going back and forth on this thing. I'm just not gonna do it.
So I would say table it for this month.
That's, okay,
If they say that they're getting the data for the engineers are involved, we moved the CCTV money to put them up there to work on I&I. This will give them incentive to get that report done and determine what we need to do.
okay. We table it until next month,
Future results.
okay?
What are you doing Sunday, Justin? I hear there's a rainstorm coming.
Sounds like I'm working.
Okay, did we have any other correspondence with Ty and Bond?
Just the thing about the plaque, that was it,
Oh,
and
yes.
the Mass
Did
Work
everybody see the
grant.
plaque? I know I responded to it.
My name's not large enough on it.
Doesn't matter. They wanted to know whether to make the bronze plaque landscape or portrait.
I would say landscape.
To me, they look better landscape, and the other thing is, I commented to change the prime operator to primary operator. If we're gonna leave it as the prime operator, I think we should change it to operator prime. Just because, but, no, but it should be.
Primarily an operator?
It should be primary operator, not prime operator. Other than that, whether it's inside or outside, yeah, I don't know. To me, it should be outside, but if it's inside, it's outside, who cares? It doesn't affect the
It's good when you
flow.
walk in the doorway and you see it on the side. there.
Flow of
Side
water.
building will usually have 'em right
Sometimes they're inside, sometimes they're outside. This building, it's inside.
Schools that are inside.
Sometimes they're inside, sometimes they're out I've seen them outside on the outside wall of the building, right near the doors. So either way, it doesn't matter to me. But, if anybody has a druther, let Jen know. But,
Doesn't matter to me.
yeah, really doesn't matter. The 2024 meeting schedule.
Yeah, we saw that.
We have to adopt that. The only thing that pushes us off of the first week of the month is July 10th, it's the second, because the first week is
The third.
July 3rd. You know, I don't know that we want to be sitting here on July 3rd inside doing a water meeting. So, now, other than that, it's the first Wednesday of the month like it has been since forever. I'm sure John will be on vacation that week anyway, so,
He's running time.
September.
July 4th weekend?
No, not, maybe not that, but September. September. Huh? Go ahead.
So, I mean, do I need a motion to
I know, I
approve
haven't
the,
yet, hold on.
the meeting schedule for 2024?
Make a motion, we adopt the meeting schedule for the upcoming year as presented.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Ryan proposed coming up with a fee for just going out and shutting someone's water off. Yeah, if they're leaving the end of the year. They're leaving to go away for the winter, they wanna shut the water off for winterizing, that kind of thing.
That was, we actually had that already covered in the space fee that we charged them. That was part of the thing, especially when we go out in the middle of the night, you turn them off for an emergency and stuff. That kind of falls into that realm,
In the base fee?
in the field, yeah. When we set up the fee structure, that was part of doing that, years ago.
Sending a guy out.
So that they didn't, because it would charge them our overtime and the overtime of a plumber, and so we started the fee schedule for them, for each home.
Is it the base fee or is it a separate fee that's an on-off fee?
No, it's a base fee for the house that was incorporated for the fact of,
When was that base fee?
years ago, way back.
I'm guaranteeing that cost is more than what was thought of then.
But that shouldn't be what a base fee is.
That should be part of the base fee. The base fee is to pay, is to
You're basically
maintain the
saying that
infrastructure.
everybody that's on the water sewer system should pay for individual people that.
I'm just telling you what they did back in,
Okay.
years ago.
All right.
They set up that because people were complaining.
Okay.
It was too expensive to have, and then call somebody back out again for another overtime charge when they got the thing fixed in the middle of the night or whatever. So they decided to do, Jay remembers, they did a fee structure for that. That's where they started that. Along with your bill, you get billed for a base fee. It was $90 at the time. I don't know what it is now or whatever, but that's what it was.
Base fee on water?
It is, oh, it just went up. Hold on, I got it right here. Quarterly fee,
Yep.
sorry, $78.37.
Okay, I mean, it's there. Think about it.
Mr.
I don't know,
Chairman,
what do you guys do?
I have a fee for turning on and off. I have a fee for, there's an on-off fee if people call to request to shut it off or.
They wanna shut it off because they're gonna
seasonal,
be,
whatever, if
they're
they
going
go
away for the
forward.
winter.
Yeah.
We have a fee for that. And then there's
These
a
folks
shut
think the
off-
house is gonna be empty, they wanna shut the house off.
A shut off for non-payment.
Well, that's
a
different,
fee and
yep.
it's more expensive. I mean, I think she would have been happy to pay a $50 fee to have her water shut off as opposed to $1,600 in bills.
Plus the repairs and
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's probably into it for 10 grand between, mold
with all the
removal,
cleanup, yep. So-
Mr. Chairman, I can see a fee like Bob said for people going to Florida, they're winterizing the house, and you're coming
That's
back
what
in
this
the
is.
spring.
That's what this is.
That's fine, but to have a fee for me to go put a new ball valve on the water service,
That's
I
not-
can't see that.
That's not for that, that's
Well,
for,
when you just
that's
use
for
the word-
folks calling to
This
shut
is,
that, shut
this
the
is for
water
the,
off.
every winter, we have the same people
The same
calling.
people call.
And every spring, they call back to have their water turned back on.
Any other town, you pay a shut-off fee, you pay a fee in the spring to turn it back on.
It's not to, because,
I'm all in favor of
because he
that.
has to replace something.
And
Versus changing it.
I'm not saying make it astronomical.
No,
I mean,
50
just,
bucks.
you wanted something reasonable to cover our expenses,
Cover-
sending somebody out there.
Because usually they take the meter and they bring the meter back to the garage and they keep it
I
there.
think they leave the meter.
Leave the meter- leave the-
Next door, they take the meter with them.
Right,
Do they?
Webster
Webster,
does, yeah.
Yeah, they take the meter with them.
We don't.
take it. Just because we put security tags on the tamper seals on the meters, so. Often you disconnect the other side of the meter, so it's
Take it right out.
open and they can drain it,
Drain it right back.
or we leave it, but, like I said, you don't wanna make it so you deter
No.
them
No,
from calling to have it done.
but it's just
like-
a reasonable, I mean, when the discussion was had, threw this on the agenda, I thought, $50. I don't know,
Well,
I don't know
during
what.
the day, if you're gonna send a guy out, say an hour, tops, right? Probably $40. And
If they're done all the time, you say they're the same people all the time?
Majority of
On
them are.
that subject, what they do next door, they, for the houses that are winterized, they make they have them put a second corporation caulk in, so they don't touch the first one that's controlled by the town. You use the one afterwards that you're responsible. I've had people have to do that. They get into the gig of going to Florida, they have to have the contractor come out and put a second corporation.
They
curb
wanna
stop.
winterize the house, they want the water shut off.
But you use your curb stop, not the town's.
So what's to say if they don't have to shut the water off because there's a plumber has to come in, and it's really to just shut the water
No,
off?
we're just saying like to
I mean,
winterize.
yeah, but I'm not what you're saying, but I'm saying, you want fees in that, but you know, we don't charge to come in during the day and shut off the plumbing stuff or whatever, so. It's
But
a,
you know, if the house is
Whatever.
being winterized every year, do you want a second curb stop? Are you gonna do that?
So what do you do, George, if 90% of the system says they want their water shut off every other week?
never happened. I mean, it's never
I know
happened,
you
but
say it's never happened, but I'm just saying, what would you do to handle that?
like we'd have to handle any other shut off, we'd shut it off and,
You can shut off 2,000.
well, what does that have to do with a fee?
I'm just, you'd
Just
have to
take care.
hire, you'd have to hire subcontractors to come out and shut meters off. There's an expense to doing this stuff.
Yes, there's expense, but right now, we've actually don't have an expense to go into somebody's house to shut it down for a plumber. We do it on our daily routine, whether it's 5, 10, or 20.
That's a department policy.
But you're talking now, you have special fee, why don't they just do it during the day and just say, we just need it shut down? Plumber's going in there to do his thing, just need it shut down, not for the reason why. Oh, you know, I mean, I don't know, do what you want, but I mean, it just, we're tagging fees on every little thing here, and, it's something they can get around anyway if they want,
What do you mean they can get around?
just by not saying what it's for. I just need my water shut off, okay?
I have a list of 15 to 20 addresses that every winter call in to be shut off, and every spring they call back in to go back on. That's how, and it's the same that's why Brian mentioned it.
Right, I'm just saying that,
Right.
what if that turns in, you know, all of a sudden the winters get worse up here?
Yep.
Global warming or whatever they're saying, now we're in an ice age, whatever, everybody wants to go to Florida for the winter. You know, you got 1,000 services, you're gonna shut off every winter and turn them back on in the spring? Do you have the manpower to do that?
Well, that's hire new guys, but that's, I mean, what does that have to, I mean,
We need money to pay those guys.
Right, so.
we're not at that.
Okay,
we're not at that
we're not
juncture
gonna
yet.
get anywhere with this tonight then. I'm sit here and argue all night. I wanna try to, okay. We need more discussion. Need more discussion on that? More thought about it? Because we haven't really thought about it, so it's there.
I'm just saying, if you check all the surrounding towns,
I'm sure they do.
I would bet almost every town has a shut-off fee
Yep.
for non-emergency, and then they have a shut-off fee for if it's,
If it's an emergency, you can waive the fee.
but
That's
you
fine.
check Webster's fees. I know you said that they charge or whatever, but you call them after hours, and that's overtime at minimum 4 hours.
That's my
whatever it
concern is,
It
if
was-
you're calling somebody out, and, sorry to bring the subject up, Mr. Chairman, if we're calling somebody out because of an emergency at night, we're paying that worker overtime.
Right.
If we call them out, that's 4 hours.
Is it
Well-
2 hour minimum, 4 hour? What's it called?
4 hour minimum.
4 hours of
4 hours
overtime
and overtime.
to shut one meter off.
Shut it off at the street.
That's upwards of
How many base?
$250.
But, okay, so we do need to do some research on that. Find out what's acceptable, what's reasonable and what isn't. But, you know, I put that out there to
Yep.
put it on our radar. Vehicle upgrades,
So, we talked this last meeting, and going back, what we're doing in the private sector, we're looking at, an enterprise lease program through Enterprise.
Enterprise being
Enterprise is the company.
the company, not the fund.
Yeah, there's others out there. It's an equity lease program, which allows you to retain the equity in the vehicles. So what we would have to do if we wanted to explore that is we'd have to put together a comprehensive list of what we own, what you wanna have, and then you can start doing the financial decision. What the benefit of it is you can cycle your vehicles sooner. So like, we can take a 10-year cycle on a vehicle, produce it to 5, so that you reduce your maintenance costs, all this. there's some pros and cons to it. We have found that from a cash flow perspective, it's less. So our cash out the door is less, allowing us to, upgrade and maintain our fleet. It's something to look at. I don't know if the economics make sense yet. We'd have to, like I said, we need to have a full list of what we have, what we wanna upgrade and replace, and what frequency we wanna replace them at. And then you can build a program and see what it costs.
So you may be able to reduce some of the legwork, because I do believe last year rent-a-capital is not what the police department looked at doing.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, that's what they're doing,
I think
yeah.
the PD already went through this and they're already implementing that.
I believe they're leasing their
So
cruisers.
it's what he said, it's through Enterprise too, I believe.
Yep.
So if they're already doing it, it might just be worth having a conversation with them if that plan's working and what the pros and cons that they found
Yeah.
doing it.
And there's, like I said, there's pros and cons to both. We found is strictly cash flow. Because, if you gotta go out and buy 10 new trucks, it's expensive, but at least 10 trucks for a lot less, and then, you're cycling them in. It all depends on how big your fleet is. There's a lot of factors that go into that. I'm just finding it to be far more economical than I thought initially.
That wouldn't encompass like the dump truck and the big equipment. Are you talking about
No.
just the regular use vehicles?
Yeah, but they can do CDL vehicles too, so.
We're looking to get a small little, call it an SUV pickup type truck. Call it a Maverick or something was one of the ideas somebody mentioned. Because what we're doing now, especially Brian, is nonstop running around back and forth and back and forth. And I mean, he's into this 150 now, which means he's saving a little bit of fuel, but,
Yeah,
we
he's
just do
covered
too
a lot of
much, we do
miles.
too much running around with the treatment and with the samples, with the this, with the that, with the that. So if he can come up with this plan of a lease vehicle, say it's 15,000, I don't know, what's the max, $15,000 or
Something like that, yeah.
something like that, that's a no-brainer. I mean, he gets in a small little vehicle, give him a small tunnel cover for tools in the back, and you've got yourself a nice runaround little vehicle to do all the stuff you need to do.
And that's to my point, like, you have to build the program, you have to understand what you wanna have in the fleet, what cycle, frequency, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I can do some of that legwork if we wanna explore it.
Take an Explorer.
Anybody have any objection to?
Yeah, look into it, yeah.
Look into it.
Exploring that?
That's the world we're in.
See what we have and what we need. That's,
I'll chase it a little bit. Just leave it on the agenda, we'll talk about it next month.
Okay. That's job descriptions is a placeholder at this point. Contracts are coming up.
we invited?
I am meeting with the town administrator next Tuesday at 10:30?
Yes.
10:30? Yeah. That's why it's on the office schedule as well. To discuss getting us at the table, contracts, as well as number 15, indirect costs, and as well as I'll see what I can get for information. I'll forward it to you about the enterprise lease for police, for PD. And there was another thing that came up, I've got it written down at home. Just to try to stay on the same page. Actually, it was Eisenhower. Although that's gonna, just, if I can get some information about Eisenhower Drive so that we know what's going on before going up Pearl Harbor on the 18th. Just to kinda stay on the same page and keep moving forward with getting a better relationship and a better, getting that, for the most part, getting that indirect cost situation straightened out once and for all. Because our budget's coming up. Budget review. We've got our, Jen printed these budgets up today.
Yep.
This is
So they're
as of
fresh.
today. You can see, by the salaries, we're at about 1/3. So we should be somewhere around 1/3, 33%. Electricity is well over that. Webster Processing is over.
Should we make an agenda item for next month to discuss commodity negotiations on National Grid?
Okay. Did you catch that?
You know if the town has an energy rep?
I believe so, I'll find out for sure.
Engineering, of course, on the sewer side is a little high, but debt service is high, but debt service kinda, that's based on when the town pays the bills. Anybody else have any questions on budgets?
We ever gonna get our code red money?
Yes, I am in, every couple weeks I send him an email, it's coming. Don't worry,
Okay.
we will have it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sizable. Okay, why is education and licenses overspent on water?
Because they all had to do their training, and we had an additional employee that went for training.
Okay. So it was, okay,
Yep.
not gonna deny training, it's,
It's a renewal year, we're gonna use their TCHs before the end of this month.
Yep.
okay. Understand that. Yeah, metering is another one of those, Okay, any questions at all at with the budgets? And then the revenue sheet was here as well, you probably stole that too?
No, you go.
Yep. There's one, and the other one right behind it. So we've got revenues for November and December. Although December is not complete, this is just for the first week of December.
It's just until as of today's.
Yep. And that's, how do the totals for the year, how are we looking for?
So that's a quarter of your billing, that's 1 quarter worth
That's
of
one-
billing.
Okay, one.
Because the
billing
bills are
cycle.
due tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so as of today, we're right at the end of the,
Yep, well,
Do you
pretty
have,
close.
Do you do a commitment when you do the billing,
yes,
so we know what we
Yep.
billed in comparison to what we collected?
roughly, yes, yeah.
That's what I was.
We're off a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna, yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say,
We're
because I
off.
think that started a lot of our
Yep,
dispute as to, we wanna know who hasn't paid.
I can
We have
give you that.
methods of-
And what's the number?
Yep.
methods of collecting.
I don't know, well, let me rephrase. I think I now can find out who's been leaned,
So there's the
and then,
liens,
and then the non-payments.
but
yeah.
I think when I looked at the numbers before, it was about like $175,000 a year that we
It's,
have uncollected.
yeah,
Nobody would run a business like that, so.
no, and it's still, I would say, running about that. But I can have more numbers for the next meeting, absolutely. Because it'll be half a year, so I can give you the whole half year.
Yeah, that's why you brought up, how can you put a budget together?
Yeah, I mean, how do you
Sit- all
budget?
that
You
kind
have
of
no
money
idea.
sitting out there, you know?
Yep, unpaid.
I know the other person's mentality is that, oh, we get it sooner or later, and it's the same amount every year, so every year you're collecting the previous years, but it's just not a way to do business. But
Right.
Hoping and praying.
I know it was like that when I started where I am, and now I think we had $2,100 uncollected, so,
Yeah, but you turned off your mother.
I'll I'd turn anybody off, but,
And the chairman of the Board of Selectmen.
but once you get through those things, people know that you're gonna do it and they'll keep up with it. And I had people yelling at me when I first started that, this is your fault, you let it get this bad. Because they were so far behind in the bill, because nobody was doing any efforts to collect them, so why do they wanna pay it? They got other things they wanna pay. If there's no consequence to not paying it, you're not doing them any favors, you're putting
Get
them
away
away
with
with
it.
debt.
I know that
Keep people on track.
there are some accounts out there that are still unpaid through COVID.
Yeah, and that's either,
They've been leaned, but I
If
just
they-
know,
if they don't have a mortgage,
correct.
they'll never pay the lien either until they go to sell the house. And if they don't plan on moving, well, they'll pay it
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, let the estate handle it.
I'll have
If
all,
he doesn't wanna go through the process of shutting them off because he's worried about it, he's obviously not gonna go do a tax taking and take their property. So if you're not gonna go through those avenues, at least give us the option to exercise the abilities we have to collect the money.
what I'll do for you is, for the next meeting, have the the first and second quarter commitments, and what's been collected and what's outstanding, and go from there.
Any other questions?
Excuse me.
Superintendent's report.
Well, Reddit just, if there's any questions there.
Number 7. Is that the line, is that the blending main?
No, that's the, well, it goes to the blending main, but that's the whole driveway, gate structure and hydrant system there. It was all, I don't know what happened when they did the backwashing. They had numerous amounts of heavy debris and rock we found in the hydrants and in the gate valves and stuff, and they weren't unoperational at that point, so we couldn't flush the system like we needed to do. It's getting cold and we need to get that fixed, so G&G came in, did me the favor, and we rebuilt the whole system up so we can now shut everything down and isolate the pump station too, which we couldn't do before.
But that's all the pipe that was put in from Station 3 to Station 6?
The system there, yeah, some of that was put in there, that all got ruined, and the hydrant was also stuck in with big rocks and stuff, so we couldn't operate that, we couldn't shut things down. So we were actually leaking water for a while till we could get down in there.
That was at Luke's, he did that work there a year or so ago.
So that's my concern, is it's a year old.
Had trouble with it?
You had valves that failed, hydrants that failed, the lines weren't flushed, that's all. This is why I had said you need the engineering oversight on this stuff. 'Cause,
Lesson learned.
that's, none of that should happen. I mean, all those lines should have been flushed out. If you've got rocks and everything in there, that's just poor workmanship putting it in, and failure to flush them out after. And gate valves that are brand new, those gate valves should last 100 years. Hydrants, 50 years, you shouldn't have to deal with those, but
Well, we had water flowing through that blending main continuously every day between the stations, so when we found out we had an issue going on there, we opened up and isolated just the main from one station and blasted it, and started getting some major components of material, which I think came from under that culvert, when they pushed the main under the culvert at Schofield Ave. I think they got a lot of material down in the low spots there, and there wasn't enough velocity of the water to get it out until we got into it and started moving it.
Yep.
And once the hydrant got involved with the gate, that's what ended up getting screwed up.
that's where, if you know the size of the main, you know the velocity of water you need to flow to flush stuff out. If you know you're not gonna do it with a well pump that, I don't know what Station 3 or Station 7 at this point. What is that pump gallons per minute?
Well, we've been regulating it down to 200 gallons a minute,
Yeah, that's not-
300. That's why
enough
we
to-
opened it up and flushed it down, but that was actually backwashing for the GAC.
Right, but if you know that you can't get the volume out of the well, that's where you needed to have it looked at and said, all right, we've got what size is the main going between the two? 8-inch?
8-inch main, this blending main is 8-inch main, yeah.
So you're gonna need 800 gallons a minute or so. So if you can't produce that with the well, you bring in a portable pump, hook it up to the hydrant, and flow it at least that to come out the other hydrant. So that's just, I don't know, it just aggravates me that you put in a main and the contractor didn't do what they needed to do, and especially if you're gonna push a pipe under an area, you know you're gonna get debris in there. It has to be put
Has to
down.
be capped.
Should be capped, yes.
Should be, yeah.
Bored ahead of time and capped.
Okay.
So,
Anything else on the?
this is something that, I don't know, did Ty and Bond sign off on that whole project?
No. There was no oversight.
So there was no oversight, but it was still designed by them. I don't know, you have to have sign off
They
on the
give us
project.
the
so
design.
Who signed off on the project and
Yeah, engineer record has to do something.
released, well, that's it.
When it
We didn't get
when it was,
as-bills either.
there were no, the as-bills were provided by Alec, by the
Do we have
contractor.
as-bills?
Do we?
We have as-bills of the setup of all that main, and as it goes into Station 6's driveway.
Yeah, with no engineer oversight, they had nothing to do with it at that point.
Yeah,
They went home. Anything,
Start digging and get out of the way.
anything else with the, superintendent's report?
So you got flushing done 20%?
Yeah, I've got guys coming in on the weekend and doing 4 hours each day, so making some headway. Trying to get the low zone completely done as much as I can, at least the areas that we're in, it's vital. So we're working bit by bit.
Work on the Lower Schofield.
Up to Brandon Road in that area where it's more vital right now, and we've got most of, up to Mill Street and further on to
But
Jericho.
are you working towards, Schofield, towards Lower Schofield, down towards Perryville?
I've been flushing that area continuously.
But going from hydrant
Yes,
to hydrant?
all that's been done, and I've
Okay.
been working that area continuously.
Okay. Okay.
And we haven't heard anything from that fellow on the corner down there, so he must be happy with your flushing.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions?
After you flush the lines, have you, the blending main, did you bacteria test all that?
Yeah, everything's been tested and passed the test, all of it.
How about the lead and copper, where do we stand with that?
We lucked out on that.
Yeah, Brian,
We're under the compliance of 1.2,
we're
and the school does not count. They're not, they will be Boston will be notified, and of course, they may have us do some little sampling on those sites, but after that, and that's about what it's gonna be.
Well, that's on the copper, but what about the lead? So
Even that, the lead too, they said the school doesn't follow to that compliance, but they will have to do some more testing as soon as they get the report. So that's pretty good there, but everything else has been fixed in the stations and in the analyzers, but we're still acting up a lot on stuff. It's constant going back and forth during the course of the afternoons and night until we get the treatment center online. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be.
do we have any consideration of changing from the chrome analyzers?
Yeah, I'd like to get out of those. We're trying to keep everything in coherence with the treatment center, what they have using in there, like blue and white, chemical feed pumps,
feed pumps?
feed pumps, analyzers.
Analyzers.
You gotta keep them all within the treatment center specs and stuff. The other stations are gonna have stripped out of, well, they're gonna be raw water stations, so we'll be okay. Once that starts, we'll have a couple extra toys to play with if we need to, but otherwise, we're in good shape. Just to let you know, that number, we're gonna be losing a guy. So you guys know about that anyway. That could be within a month, 2 months, I'm not sure. Arrangements are gonna be made to sell their house and stuff. So, just letting everybody know.
Did we get a report from the sanitary survey?
Not yet.
Yeah, they don't have a final report yet.
There's gonna be a lot of issues because of the work going on in the treatment and stuff. Some other things that we can fix. Security is not a big issue, I guess, as we were led to believe, so I don't know if we have to do a lot of the stuff that we had planned on doing. The way she's talking.
What security, cybersecurity?
Yeah,
No, no, not talking about that, I'm talking about security fencing, like at Bates and up into Station One. We might be able to get away with just some basic fencing and some stuff. I was planning on doing all around the well field. Each individual well can be done, fenced around. So instead of doing the whole area, you can, whatever, do that. And Bates can be, can probably I could probably, put some trap rock up there and level that off and make it a little bit higher and then forget about a fence there too. So there's some good news there, save some money. Just some of the issues that were brought up. Everything else is not too bad.
yeah, we should have a report soon. Board comments.
One thing, Mr. Chairman, the Teague tank over there at Station 7, is that prepared for winter with that heating coil? So we don't go through last winter's episode with the freeze up?
As far as I know, that's been fixed.
But I mean, is the heating coil on now, is it working?
It's working. I can't say a major cold what's gonna happen, like, I don't know, because there's also vents and things that come off that thing. But I'm hoping that's gonna be in the station as soon as they get things moving, and they'll transfer that
I'm
by
just wondering,
January.
You know, we had the freeze up last year and.
As soon
we
as
didn't know
they get
anything
that
about
pump
it.
station, as soon as they get that treatment plant
we gotta-
up and running, that's gonna get shut off.
Could be a month away, but, you know,
Yeah.
we got cold nights. So can you check on that with your guys to make sure that heating system is working?
It looks like your numbers are all below the limit anyway, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just, it's that month of the year. Have a good holiday, safe holiday. Though it has nothing to do with us, in the last week, there's been 2 wrong-way accidents on the highway, one here and one in Maine. The one in Maine involved a high school, a Shepherd Hill graduate. I know the family. Older brother was one of my son's friends in Scouts. 20-something years old passenger in a car that, wrong way on the highway up in Maine. She's dead. Just be smart, that's it. Motion,
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.